Chapter 340, Blue Genuine Chi, Innate Magic Chi. This chapter is updated by novels.pl. The area surrounding the dragon tomb was permeated with weird power. It blocked out the powerful water pressure from the river water. Even though Yan Siming had died and lost the protection of his celestial body she held, his body was not smashed by the water pressure. The black market warriors were frightened. Yan Siming had been famous for 5 years and was one of the leaders among the younger generation in the black market. And yet, he'd been killed by a young woman with just one sword stab. When had the internal academy of the school of the martial market cultivated so many young masters? One Zhang Yuochen was already very frightening. And now, there was one more. If one were to compare Huang Yanchen to Yan Siming before she'd had the dragon's blood, they were about the same. As for now, Huang Yanchen's cultivation was one realm higher than Yan Siming's. And she had more talent than him as well. It certainly was not hard to kill Yan Siming. Di Yi's look turned cold as he watched her. He was preparing to rush over and kill her. Whoosh! Zhang Yuochen's figure flashed and stood face to face with Di Yi. He stopped him and said, "Di Yi, your opponent is me." "Zhang Yuochen, you really do have some ability. I underestimated you before." Di Yi clenched his 10 fingers and suppressed his anger, trying hard to control his emotions. Zhang Yuochen was no ordinary opponent. Di Yi did not dare to look down upon his enemy. He must be very careful, otherwise he might fail miserably at a very easy task. They stood facing each other, carefully watching each other's every little movement. Their spiritual power were totally released and the momentum kept rising. The genuine chi in their bodies rushed out of their heads, rising up like 2 tall mountains. Both of them stepped out almost at the same time, slowly approaching each other. Bam! Di Yi took a step forward. Suddenly the ground moved, and a wave came forth. The heaven and earth spiritual chi shook violently. The genuine chi in his body had fused with the spiritual chi of heaven and earth. When he moved, the ground would shake violently. Zhang Yuochen also took a step forward. It was not as powerful as Di Yi's, but his footwork was in a wonderful and regular pattern, without any flaws. When one's cultivation had reached their realm, the key to success was one's state when fighting. If one was not in a good state, he or she might be defeated by an opponent in the same realm within a few movements. They paid serious attention to each other. They had to be very careful and try their best to make the other reveal a flaw. Then one could then take the chance to have the upper hand. While Zhang Yuochen and Yi stood face to face, Sik Singkong, Shang Kiki, Juan Mook Singerling, and Chen Xia made a combined attack formation. They had already clashed with the black market warriors' formation of 1,000 knives and stars. Among the 236 warriors of the black market, there were 18 masters at the initial stage of the heaven realm. The rest were all at the completion of the earth realm. So many masters gathered together. 236 light columns burst out from the array. Everyone's power seemed to accumulate in the center of the light column. 1,000 wind-making knives. In their formation, the 236 warriors roared together, continuously infusing their genuine chi into the formation jade. Inscriptions of array gathered together, making thousands of chi knives. Some of the chi knives were more than 33 meters long, like knife waves. Some were only 4 inches long, like flying knives with white light. All of the chi knives gathered together, forming a knife river. They slashed toward Sik Singkong and the others. Sik Singkong stood in the formation, holding a golden dagger. With the combined power of 4 people, all the inscriptions on the golden dagger were activated. Break. He raised both of his arms and swung suddenly. The golden dagger turned into a giant knife dozens of meters long, chopping toward the river. It broke the 1,000 knives and stars formation. Chen Xia was very happy. Continue to attack. Destroy the formation. Sik Singkong, Shang Kiki, Juan Mook Singerling, and Chen Xia were top masters among the warriors at the heaven realm. Every one of them was a master like Jin Quan. The combined attack formed by these 4 people was flat and round. It kept turning like a giant millstone. It squeezed into the 1,000 knives and stars formation. Swoosh! Sik Singkong continued to chop with his golden dagger. He applied the power of the 10th level genuine martial arms. The black market warriors in the 1,000 knives and stars formation were not bad either. Everyone everyone was a master. They struck out their knives of chi continuously and fiercely fought against Singkong and the others. Zhang Yuochen and Di Yi were also quite nervous. After all, the fight between the warriors of the black market and 4 people including Singkong would affect their final fight. If the Thousand Knives and Stars formation defeated the combined attack formed by the 4 people, then their warriors of the black market would come over to help Di Yi, suppressing Zhang Yuochen. If the combined attack formed by the 4 people including Singkong defeated the Thousand Knives and Stars formation, then the 4 people including Huang Yanjun and Ziqian would come over to help Zhang Yuochen, killing Di Yi. Hence, 2 arrays were in a frontal crash. They could determine the life and death on both sides. Glang! A loud bang came out of the area where 2 arrays were located. Under the fierce attack of Singkong, Shang Kiki, Juanmuk Singerling, and Chen Xia, the Thousand Knives and Stars formation was finally broken. Their warriors of the black market flew back. Among the 236 warriors of the black market, at least 20 were killed by the knife energy of Singkong's golden dagger. Their bodies were sliced up and turned into stumps. Singkong, Shang Kiki, Juanmuk Singerling, and Chen Xia dashed out, striking out martial techniques. They started to kill their opponents, preventing them from gathering together to form a new array. No one had expected Zhang Yuochen and his team to be so powerful. Every one of them was an extraordinary master. Within a short time, they had dismissed Di Yi's carefully constructed killing formation. It was as if they were all top conquerors of the Saint Academy. Di Yi turned serious and secretly cursed the useless scraps. A formation formed by more than 200 warriors could not hold back 4 people. If they were not useless scraps, then what were they? Di Yi was reduced to complete passivity. Originally, they had already set up a far-flung network and wanted to kill these students of School of the Martial Market. Unexpectedly, Zhang Yuochen easily broke it. Without the array, their warriors of the black market were defenseless in front of Singkong and the others. Only 15 minutes had passed. There were nearly 100 bodies. The river water turned red. There were several stumps at the bottom of the river. It was like a horrible genie world. It was not for the faint of heart. Zhang Yuochen acutely observed that Di Yi's mood had changed. He rushed out rapidly. He was in front of Di Yi in a second. He chopped at Di Yi's legs with his sword. It was all done in one swift motion. Di Yi knew that he had lost the chance to attack first. He would not confront with Zhang Yuochen directly. He stood back decisively, avoiding the sword. Whoosh! Zhang Yuochen made several movements and charged forward 3 steps. He chopped the sword again, this time at Di Yi's neck. Di Yi stretched out his hands to hold it back. Bam! The 3,000 kilogram Abyss Ancient Sword struck Di Yi's gloves, sending him backward. If Di Yi wanted to change his situation, he had to counterattack. Ghost King Seal. Di Yi pinched his middle finger, forming a seal. He struck out with one claw. A 4-meter-long black claw print attacked Zhang Yuochen. The claw print was not like a human hand. It was more like a dragon claw. It also looked like a ghost hand or magical palm. This was a movement from Hell Ghost King Claw. Zhang Yuochen's global emitted light. The heart of the sword in his chi was spinning. Power of sword comprehension released and controlled the Abyss Ancient Sword. Shatter for me. Zhang Yuochen's forefinger and middle finger were extended together, creating a sword skill. The Abyss Ancient Sword turned into a light that flew out. It shot more than 33 meters and pierced through the black claw toward Di Yi's chest. Innate magic chi. Di Yi stood where he was with both his hands stretched out. A cloud of evil spirit rushed out from his paws, forming the field of demons with a diameter of about 33 meters. From a distance, it looked like a giant black ball wrapping around Di Yi's body. On the surface of the black ball, there were weird magic lines that swirled continuously, and let out a purring sound. Swoosh! The Abyss Ancient Sword made contact with the field of demons. It was like they were in a swamp and slowing down. The Abyss Ancient Sword floated in the evil energy. The blade spun continuously, letting out a piercing sword sound. It broke Di Yi's field of demons bit by bit. Both powers engaged in a fight, emitting streaks of fire in the water. Di Yi practiced one of the pictures of Omen lithograph, Picture of Omen's congenital magic chi. He had already turned the genuine chi into the innate magic chi when he reached the heaven realm. The so-called innate magic chi was actually within the domain of genuine chi. It was just that the congenital magic chi was a lot of times better than the genuine chi of warriors at the same realm. Once it was released, it could easily defeat any opponent. Only warriors who had practiced brilliant martial techniques could create the more powerful genuine chi. For example, the scripture of Emperor Ming's Empyrean Zhang Yuochen practiced. When he reached the third level, he had obtained the genuine chi of spiritual fire. Zhang Yuochen had now reached fourth level of the scripture of Emperor Ming's Empyrean, prebiotic blue sky, and he had obtained the more powerful genuine chi. It was called blue genuine chi. Of course, the genuine chi of a warrior at the heaven realm had been condensed into the liquid in the chi sea. It was now vital essence. Only when it flew out from the chi sea, could the vital essence turn into genuine chi again. The liquid state was the vital essence, and the gas state was genuine chi. Zhang Yuochen's blue genuine chi was at the same level as the innate magic chi De practiced. Shatter for me. Zhang Yuochen rushed up and broke into De's field of demons. He hit the hilt with one palm. The blue genuine chi splashed out of his palm, like a blue waterfall. It entered the sword. The abyss ancient sword went through the innate magic chi with a clang. It attacked toward De's globula.